Welcome to the Jerod Mayo era. It's finally here as the Patriots are 1-0 and they shocked the nation by beating the Bengals as an 8.5 underdog in week 1. I was surprised myself. You guys know that. I didn't have them winning in that matchup, but I'm very surprised with how the outcome did portray itself. But now, can they do it in week 2? Well, a lot of players have been talking about how Jerod Mayo is just completely changing the personality in the locker room, outside the locker room. This entire team is fully on the Jerod Mayo train. So if you guys are on the train with them, go on ahead, type Y for yes, type in for no about how you feel about Jerod Mayo being the head coach for the New England Patriots. It was a hard transition going from somebody like Bill Belichick, who brought nothing but rings to New England, to have Jerod Mayo, a former player, but so far so good. Obviously undefeated after week 1. But the fact that the players are talking about how much they respect him. There have been quotes out there saying, I would run through a brick wall for Jerod Mayo. He matches their energy. He brings that player mindset to a coaching standpoint. And after they did win in week 1, he got a Gatorade bath as if they just won the Super Bowl. This was just beating the Bengals. But I think it's because they respect Jerod Mayo so much. They're like, hey, man, you put us through hell. You worked our asses off in the preseason and the offseason, and it paid off. And this is just kind of a thank you. Thank you for leading us to our first win. They even had Robert Kraft hand him the game ball after week 1. The head coach got the game ball for winning the ball game. It is pretty evident that Jerod Mayo is highly respected in the locker room and in the front office, and I'm glad because I've seen a lot of reports this entire offseason saying they're not 100% fully invested in Jerod Mayo because how can they be? It's like testing out a rookie. You don't know what he's going to do just yet. And knowing that he's a defensive-minded coach and knowing that Bill Belichick was also in that similar route, it's good to know that Jerod Mayo is working through things. And overall, it's just refreshing to see the players actually adhering to Jerod Mayo. It has been a sight for sore eyes the last couple of years watching New England Patriots games. And I'm not going to go on and say they're going to go undefeated just because they went 1-0. I'm not going to say we're going to win the Super Bowl. And you don't even have to be undefeated to have a successful season. It's just noticeably different. The players are excited to put on that New England Patriot uniform, and that's all I care about. I don't care if they win another game for the rest of the season. That's a fat lie. I do. But you know what I mean. I'm just glad the New England Patriots are starting to feel like they can actually play football again in a team, with players that want to be there and want to win. But there are also different things that Jerod Mayo has had to do since putting on the head coaching cap, and he's had to be a leader. He's had to be a mentor to the younger guys. And a lot of you guys were asking me in the comments, Allie, why didn't Javon Baker play in the first game after he was a top target in preseason, in the offseason at training camp? So Jerod Mayo finally discussed a little bit about why he decided to do a healthy scratch for Javon Baker in week 1. And he did say that he just has to continue to progress and continue to develop both on the field and off the field. That's my responsibility ultimately. Number 1, to have a head coach say that growing a player like Javon Baker is his responsibility, I love that. That shows leadership on and off the field. But if you guys didn't know, what really happened was that Javon Baker got pulled over for driving a traffic violation, and it was just pretty routine. Well, Javon Baker went on Instagram Live and discussed the entire thing, and he wasn't very happy about it. And neither was Jerod Mayo. He talked about him, said there wouldn't be any punishment, and there is no correlation to whether that was a punishment or not. But he was a healthy scratch. So to have somebody like that, a leader that's going to have some hard decisions to make. Javon Baker, obviously a very fine football player, but Jerod Mayo said, you know what? He's got to learn. He's got to figure out how to be a bigger player off the field before he can put on a Patriots uniform, and I think that speaks volumes. But knowing that whether that was his punishment or not his punishment to play in week 1, do you guys think Javon Baker should suit up and play week 2 versus Seattle Seahawks? I know he's had definitely some issues in the past, but I do think that playing for a coach like Jerod Mayo should set him up for success, maybe not even on the Patriots, but just in his NFL career moving forward. So let me know what you guys think. Type P for play, type S for maybe another healthy scratch. And hopefully, if you guys did put P for play, you guys can go see him in action this Sunday at Gillette Stadium. And if you guys want to get tickets to that ball game, I highly suggest you guys going ahead and use the GameTime app. I use GameTime all the time, whether I'm trying to get tickets to a college football game, NFL, maybe even a comedy show right around the corner. I use GameTime because I love the fact that you can see your seats before you buy it. The last thing you guys want is to spend your well-earned money to go to a game and you're sitting behind a pole. That is not what happens here with GameTime because you get to see your seats before you buy it. Not to mention, your girl's a little bit of a procrastinator. So when I finally decide I want to go to the game, they've got great last-minute ticket deals, and they always have the lowest price guaranteed. I don't know how you guys haven't downloaded the GameTime app already, especially because you're going to get GameTime ticket coverage. Even if there is a cancellation, you are going to give back 110% of the difference when it's lowest price guaranteed. So if you guys do want to go on ahead and download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first-time purchase while terms apply. And they have a new feature called GameTime Picks, which makes getting tickets to your favorite teams play live even easier. GameTime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. One more time, download the GameTime app, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off while terms apply. Download GameTime today. What time is it? It's game time. I can't stress enough how important a week 1 win was. I know it may just be, oh, it's one game, it's not the rest of the season, yada, 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 but being an 8.5-point favorite like the Bengals were, and then to come out and lose by 6 to the Patriots, who had very low expectations from every single analyst in the NFL, it's huge. It's huge for the players. And speaking from a former player, Julian Edelman spoke out about what it could mean to the Patriots in the locker room, saying that coaching staff, Jerod Mayo, everything they've been preaching to the team and organized team activities, minicamp, training camp, everything that they've been preaching just showed that it worked. The messaging worked. That's how you get guys to buy in. That's how you get your confidence to grow larger. That's how you get guys to come in a little earlier because everything they worked hard on, they got production from. They got a taste of what it's like to win and be 1-0. I don't know if you guys saw this, but after the game, there were several players, mainly on the defensive side of the ball, but it doesn't really matter. Jabril Peppers, Juwan Bentley, absolutely cussing out their heart. They were screaming, they were cheering, they were just so hyped to win, and it felt good. It felt like there were players in the locker room that were leaders, on top of having DeMarcus Covington, on top of having Alex Van Pelt and Jerod Mayo, who have been the leaders this whole offseason, saying, look guys, we've got a plan for you, and if you just do what we ask, that plan's going to work out. Because this coaching staff wasn't handed the most perfect roster to begin with. They lost Matthew Judon in a trade. They lost Christian Barmore to a very unfortunate series of blood clots. There's your top 2 defenders gone right there. That's a lot for Covington to have to adjust to. And then on the offensive side and defensive, you've got a lot of rookies to manage. And they've done nothing but given patience and given time to Drake May, Jalen Bolk, Javon Baker, who they made a healthy scratch. They could have waived them. They could have completely released them, but they do see that there is potential there, and they want to work with them. And then also not even having a starting left tackle, knowing that you're going to put a possible rookie in the backfield and not have anybody protect his blind side. There's a lot to handle here, and they're still dealing with things like, for example, the left tackle. Even on week 1, there was a big mix-up. And Chuk Okorafor just couldn't get the job done. So, Jerod Mayo, he made the executive decision to bench Okorafor in the middle of the game. And he said, I think he has the entire skill set to be a good tackle in this league. I would say during the game, there were some challenges. He had some challenges and some struggles over there. But then Verdarian Lowe came in and did a great job for us. Once again, it's about competing each and every week. And he's still allowing Chuk Okorafor to say, hey, man, you're a great tackle, but you're not really producing right now. So I'm going to put Lowe in there, and if you want your job back, you go fight for it. That is how a coach motivates a team. That is how a coach says, if you're here to play for us, you're going to play, but show me you want to. And honestly, he really needed to have a good blindside in that game because Jacoby Brissett ended up having turnover-free football. I think that goes back to the coaching decision of Jerod Mayo saying, look, Okorafor, you're out. You can't get the job done. Lowe goes in, and it ended up working out. There were 0 turnovers. But knowing that there is still a competition, even going into week 2, it may be a competition on the offensive line, to be honest, for the rest of the season. Who do you want to start at the left tackle position? If you guys think that Jerod Mayo made a good decision, type Lowe. Let Lowe go in there for all 4 quarters. If you think Okorafor should have another opportunity to try out, go on ahead and type Chuk in the comment section down below. The moral of the story is it's a new era. Bill Belichick is a fantastic coach, and he could still go coach for another team this season. But Jerod Mayo is basically connecting with these players on another level that Bill Belichick may not have been able to, just because Jerod Mayo was a former Patriot himself, and he knows what it's like to win games as a player and now as a coach. But he really wanted to emphasize the players that he is nothing without them. So I made sure they knew that. When they cross the white lines, I always talk about empowering the players to go out there and play. I always talk about awareness being the number one thing, and those guys taking ownership. So all the praise goes to those guys. They did a great job. This man made Jacoby Brissett, a grown man, cry 3 times before the game because he was so motivated by this coach. Number 1, that's crazy. Number 2, the fact that shows how much Jacoby Brissett, who's a veteran and a leader himself, respects Jerod Mayo. There were happy tears before the Patriots won. I can only imagine how much Jacoby Brissett bawled after they finally beat the Bengals heading into week 2. So one last time here, for Jerod Mayo, go on ahead and spam Mayo in the comment section. Just give him some love. I mean, he may not win another game for the rest of this season. And even if that's the case, Jerod Mayo is doing things for these guys off the field as well. And I think the Patriots in the front office made a really good decision by hiring Jerod Mayo. But I'm not getting too ahead of myself, just giving credit where credit's due. So if you guys want to go on ahead, hit that sub button for me, keep growing this channel, and hopefully we can talk about a win in week 2 coming up on Monday.